topic. And Pranit, thank you for coming to the webinar. And Pranit is having a little bit of network problems. He might go off in the video, so that shouldn't be of any hindrance to anybody. And also, this webinar is live on Facebook now, so even there you can share and you can tell everybody to view. So we can actually get into the presentation itself. Thank you all the 58 attendees for being on time. So I think Pranit, let's start, and let me share the screen, and when your particular part comes, maybe we can come in. Okay. So if your video is having any problem, you can switch it off. You can adjust that. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Thank you. So we'll start it up.
Yeah, we'll start. So hope everybody can hear me. So we are going to start the presentation today. So today's presentation is basically about one particular thing which we need to learn, or one particular thing which we need to kind of get to know in our life. So basically, let me start off with saying this particular thing. How a terrace can save us during a pandemic. So this is a very, very tough and a very hard question where we can't even understand, or we can't even think about how a terrace can save us during a pandemic. It's a very big question mark. On that note, again, telling about terraces, the topic is the resilience of a terrace. So resilience means nothing but the resilience means basically nature. So whatever you do to nature will just grow back by itself. So it'll be back to its ground zero, the stage one where it was. So that's the good thing about nature. And I think, if we can concentrate on this particular idea for the next 5-6 years, maybe this resilient terraces can save us during a pandemic. So I'm architect Rupesh, and accompanying me is architect Pranit. So I'm from Ooty, and he's also from Ooty. So the first thing I wanted to start off with, showing your young minds, those students who are there with me today on this presentation, and also the professionals and the faculties and the parents. Thank you. So first thing, what we need to know about architecture itself is that, architecture is connected to everything. So basically, if you see these moving pictures, we can actually see the first picture is, this guy, God, King Kong on top of the Empire State Building. And the second picture is, it's a different time lapse, or it's mind bending picture, second one. Third picture, if you can see, architecture being there in history. So, architecture has been there in history, and has been there very close to all the events which were there in history, and all the, decisions which were made in history were also made in an architect built space. So that's nice about it. And then in the end, you can see Justin Bieber with his album, and architecture can be shown in different types, in different genres, in different filters, and in a lot of different meanings architecture can be interpreted. So that is one thing which we need to look out for in our world. So coming to this picture is very interesting because these three people also, these three images are very important to our life, because these are the things, these are the kind of species which we learned in our childhood. And my question was, nowadays we don't get to see a lot of them. We don't get to see a lot of sparrows and birds. We know that locust attack, which is there. We don't get to see a lot of bees also at once, once in a while we see them. And butterflies, yes, only when we go to gardens or something like that, we see a lot of butterflies. But until then, we can't see. So my question is that, is architecture really, like I told you, architecture is connected to everything, but is architecture connected to these fellows? So this is where we need to understand a little bit of what we are doing. So what about them? So keep this question in mind as this presentation goes. This is a very creative presentation which you will be able to interpret, and in the end we'll know some answers also. So this is a small video which I wanted to show you. So this video shows Brazil in before the last 20 years in 1992. This is the Amazon forest being made, or being deforested for all these years, and they also call it as the fishbone type. And these forests have been lost now. We know the news. So these forests really are a part of the world. Next one is water use. So Water use is, for example, if you see this Aral Sea, from 80s until 2003, we did not know that the water was depleting. Only in 2003 they built a dam, and they couldn't save the water and this particular Aral Sea, because this is how the Aral Sea looks now. Urban sprawl. So urban sprawl is what we are doing to our cities, urban centers. Example is Las Vegas. So Las Vegas is a very growing city, and it's growing in a particular pattern and in landforms. But still, the growth is maximum. And what about the resources? We're using a lot of them. Energy. When it comes to energy, yes, electricity. What are the resources we have on our earth, and how do we use them is a question. So these coal mines who are there in Wyoming, I think China. So these mines are being, used up, as well as they have given a rule that they should fill the mine with soil, so that we do some sustainability there. This one, as we all know, this has been a talk of the last, 9 years, 10 years, about how, global warming is hit and the icebergs are melting. These are the images which we need to see. This is the perspective from which we need to see things. So if we are going to see a lot of things from the human perspective, we are not going to be really understanding the impact or the intensity of what we are doing daily. For us architects and for students, it might be one house, or it might be 10 houses or 30 houses. But if you look at a bigger picture, it's for 300 architects, it will be 300 into 10 houses, so it's a big number. So this video, if you guys can see, this video will show how this urban sprawl, that is how are we going to most of the spaces or most of the places where humans can't inhabit, but we still make them. The human intervention inside or on top of a land is always growing day by day. But at the same time, if we see how much ever houses we build, or how much ever things we do, we are not balancing it with a little bit of greenery or things like that. So it ends out to be so much bad that this video shows most of the places around the earth who are being depleted, or the agricultural lands are being thrown out. It is only due to the extension of the city, due to the infrastructure and a lot of people moving in and population explosion. So this video, I just wanted to show you from a perspective from above earth, which is very different and very interesting. So this slide particularly explains, if everybody can look at on the screen, there is this part which is there. So what was there previously, before even man started building and stuff like that? What was there was 100% of living space. So 100% of living, in the sense, there were birds, there were insects, there were earthworms inside the earth, and the soil was very lush. There were different types of medicinal plants and things like that. But as days moved by, this second picture, if you see, we started building our houses. So that big white cube is a house. So what happened is we actually reduced the the greenery, or the life quotient of that particular area to 15 to 20%. So it's basically, if you break for example, if I would say, if you have a flower pot in your house and you break that flower pot, it adds to you're ending a lot of lives. So be the plant, be the earthworm, be anything, you're just ending a lot of lives. So that's what we are doing now. The interesting factor here is, we have this red line. Everywhere in life we have a red line. This red line is the line where people tell us don't cross. People tell us, if you cross, be careful. People tell us, why do you even have to cross the red line? So this red line is where we are going to think, as architects and as environmentalists and a lot of people who care about environment, did we cross the red line or did we not? So this answer also we will know. So my question is, are we safe? So this most of you might know the answer, but me particularly, I still don't know what the answer is. So image of a city. So image of a city, when you see this, you will automatically get Kevin Lynch in your mind, and he's a very good planner, and he has a book on it. So my image of a city, or what I want to see, is that once this experience so happened that everything was very good when we are there on the streets, when we are there on the house, and when we're there on the office and things like that. When we are there on the park, everything seems very beautiful. But as we go on a higher level, when I took a flight, and I saw what was there, that particular perspective was very different. So nobody told us that look at from the bird's eye perspective. What can the birds see down there? Can they really see very good sustainable development, or are we killing it? So these images will prove to be a little bit of a quality. So there are three images. All the three images are being filled with our exploitation, the human exploitation. So the first image is nothing but Bangalore. Second image is Ahmedabad. So Ahmedabad, you can see this Kankaria Lake, which is surrounded by a lot of urban intervention, and it is literally packed. And this is Kolkata, and the Salt Lake is there, if you can see in this corner. So this, what happened here is, this urban intervention is taking a lot, and the cities are actually getting choked. Now, when we come to the down south, nothing different is the same. So what happened is, Madurai and Chennai and Coimbatore, let's take these three big cities, which we always talk about. Madurai, it's a cultural thing. It's a center and things like that. We know the temple is beautiful. Yeah. Coimbatore, yeah, we know the bridges have come up. Everything looks so nice, and Coimbatore is a pleasant city. Yes. Chennai, of course, the one thing which comes to our mind is the beach and, everything, very pleasant stuff. But when you see these pictures, this particular angle shows us that there is not really much space. There is not really much space for even planting a tree or putting a garden or doing anything even. So we are so packed that we can't even move to the next street. So this is the perspective which I wanted everyone who are viewing this webinar to understand, that from this perspective, everything seems like a doomsday. So it's all coming to an end kind of. So are we thinking is my question. Moving on. So this one, I would like everyone to participate by thinking. So this image is an image which was taken of my neighborhood, which is there in Coimbatore. So this neighborhood is about 1.5 kilometers by 2.8 kilometers in rectangle. So we can see this rectangle. So this image was actually taken in 2003. So 2003, we might be far way back. Now the next image, this image was taken in 2019. So it so happened one day, it was an experience for myself that, I was Googling, I was Googled, and I was into Google Earth and Google Maps. I was zooming into my house, and I was trying to find my house. And then I just stuck upon this, this two images. And all I could find is that when we see these images, for the last 20 years, there are a lot of things which are changing. The roads change, the railway station is changing, the houses change, the buildings become bigger, smaller, the parks are there, the roads even form new roads and new connections and a lot of stuff. So change has been very good is what we are telling ourselves for the past 20 years. 2019's image, the same change is being happening. In 2030 also the change will happen. But one thing which I saw is that, rather than me seeing, I saw like 300 or 1,000 and 2,000 terraces which were looking at me. So this image really proved out to be a very good experience where I thought, why are even these terraces just there, not used, dormant? What are we even using the terrace for? So from 2000 to 2020, the terrace has been not used for anything. The terrace has been a useless, like a dormant volcano. So when we rewind even back to from 2000 to 1980s, it's the same terrace. So thousands and thousands of terraces have been there in the maps, which we are seeing daily for the past 40 years. Made me think, okay, as architects, yes, maybe we need to change a little bit about these terraces. So this is a very big impact which made, in my study and research when I was entering into it. So all these whites, if you can see in this image, all the whites are the terraces. Now, this word called terraces is a very normal word. Every day we would tell everybody that we'll go to the terrace and, we'll go play in the terrace. We'll do this, we'll do that. But, this word terrace, have you ever thought that this word terrace can save you during a pandemic? Even I didn't think so, but maybe it can save us is what I'm thinking. Now, these are all some of the examples which I wanted to put in picture formats for you to know the amount of intensity of human involvement in a particular urban growth or urban sprawl. where, Gujarat, if you take, it's like 80% of houses and all the houses have terraces. Calcutta, there is no place at all. Everything is packed. And the only thing which we can see from on top is terraces. Bangalore, we know about Bangalore. It's the garden city. Yes, except for a few places and the lakes, whole of Bangalore is packed. A lot of houses, apartments, infrastructure, growth. But we still have, lakhs and lakhs and billions of terraces which are looking at us even now in this picture. Chennai, terraces. Coimbatore looks like this image is very scary when we look at Coimbatore, because this perspective it's scary. If you look at it in the map, it's very scary. So so much of intensity of housing and development has been done. But when we see our city from the top, any city might be in your choice, your city. When you see a city or neighborhood from the top, there's really a lot of terraces which will look at you, and the terraces will ask you a question: what were you guys doing for the last 40 years, man? You didn't change me. So this is what I felt. I think I felt with the terraces. Now, this is an image which really matters, because a terrace, there are two pictures. On the left hand side, if you see, that is a terrace during a normal day. There is laundry, there are children playing, there is a little bit of storage on the terrace, there are wires going, all that stuff, the usual stuff. The right hand side image is a terrace after a natural calamity. Now, this is where I thought, terraces really can communicate. Yes. So if the terrace can say a thanks to the army or anybody who's there on the, who's there in the helicopter or in the plane, the terrace is actually communicating a message to those people. So this is where I thought, maybe terraces really need to communicate a lot of message to what we humans are. So these are two very little problems. These are like 5th standard, 6th standard science books and related to that. So in 5th grade, they've told us any material you keep it on the sun, it will reflect a lot of heat on top. So yes, that is called solar reflectance and thermal emittance. But this particular issue is not being looked at, or it's been ignored too much, is my thought. Because the terrace is the same thing. The terrace is open and it's exposed to sunlight from morning to evening, and it gives a lot of heat. We'll know how it gives the goods and bads in the next slides. So this is the good and the bad. Pranit, are you online?
Yeah, fine. Is it audible?
Yeah, it's audible, Pranit, please.
Yeah, as you said, the terrace usages, we can use a terrace as a rooftop, which can be act as a sheltering for the human being as well as the dwellers who live in that shelter. Second, the goodness of the terraces will be like it acts as a good viewport where you can enjoy the kickstart morning or a shutdown sunset as well as. It also acts as a storage dump yard where the people who lives in the building can put up a space where you can store up the wastages. Also, it can act as a communal space for the gathering between neighbors.
Pranit, a little bit louder, Pranit.
Is it audible?
A little bit louder could do.
Hello?
Yeah, it's a little bit louder, can be, a little bit hearable.
Is it audible now?
It's audible. A little bit louder should do, Pranit.
Yeah. So as you said, for the goodness of the terraces, we consider like it acts as a recreation spaces for the dwellers who can have a gathering and a communal space where the neighborhoods can have a chit chat in the evening. And the terraces can also act as a viewports or viewpoints for the dwellers who can have a kickstart morning or shutdown sunsets as well as. It can act also a communal space where the people can get together and form a gathering spot. So these are some of the actions which can be taken over the terraces. But instead of having an entertainment spot, we can also think in a different perspective where the environmental issues comes up in the pandemic. Is it clear? Can you hear it now?
Yeah, I think the volume is a little bit low. I can hear a little bit.
Yeah.
You can, put your mic closer, maybe, Pranit.
Yeah, okay. Now is it audible? Is it sounds okay
It's
or
still
still?
a little bit louder.
Okay. So instead of using this space not only for entertainment, we can also have a look in a different perspective where it can helpful for the environmental where we live in. So as I said, like instead of entertaining ourselves, we should also entertain the environmental with respect to ecological ecosystems as well. As simply said, we do recreation for ourselves to get away from the stresses. Same way, the environmental have a stress between the ecological ecosystem. So to do that, we have a balance. We should have a balance between the built environment as well as the ecosystems where we live in. So this is how my perspective towards the on terraces. I mean the rooftop.
Okay, good. I think Pranith, in the chats we are getting that you are not audible. So maybe before we come to the next middle, can you just put your mic closer or something like that? It do good. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think
If
so.
not, yeah, if not, if not, that's no problem. I can also put your points through, so that isn't of any problem. So yeah,
Okay.
this like Pranith architect Pranith had told us about the good we are doing in the terraces. Yes, we are doing a lot of interaction and stuff like that. So his question is, why are we not doing more on the terraces? Why are we only doing usual interaction and things like that? My view of the terrace, the bad about the terrace or our terraces is the terrace, has a lot of heat, a lot of reflection, and the terrace is literally dead. So, for example, if I would say the terrace is, kind of, if you see this picture, there are people who are on top of the terrace, which is very nice. They are playing and things like that. But can we all ask ourselves a question? When is the terrace being used in one day fully? So if I can tell the truth, from morning to 10 o'clock we use the terrace, and then after that we don't put it to so too much of use, and then from evening 5 to again 9 o'clock in the night we use the terrace. So my question is, what is the terrace even doing some good from morning 10 o'clock to evening 5 o'clock? But it's not, because terraces, they are very reflective. For us, we can go and stand on a terrace in the midday by 12 noon, no problem. But my question is, can the birds sit on the terrace? Can the squirrels go and move? What about that ecosystem which we are not still thinking about on the terrace? Is what thought it came to me as a very big question. So this is what is happening now. So in the pandemic or in the corona lockdown, we all noticed that this was happening a lot, because a lot of people who have never ever come to the terrace of their own house for not even for one job, or not even for coming and doing or relaxing, this pandemic or this lockdown, everybody was on the terrace. They were playing games. We saw the videos. They were interacting with each other, and they were doing a lot of stuff on the terrace. Most in the apartment complexes, most of them started interacting with the neighbors only in this lockdown, which was only happening on the terrace. They couldn't go anywhere. So that is where only when a lockdown or a pandemic hits us, we really think about a terrace. Is my question. So what if there can be more for a terrace? Is a very nice question which we can think of. Everybody's having terraces on our on our houses, rooftops. So let's see what can we do about it. So we have a problem. We Nobody knows that. Even I don't know, and architect Puneeth doesn't know. The problem is either big or small, and we don't know whether the problem is a short-term problem or a long-term problem. But whatever it's still a problem. What can be done about it is what I was asking. Me and Puneeth were asking to ourselves. What can we do about it? So that's where this particular thought for ourselves comes. Architecture can change the thinking. So if architecture can change my mind about terraces, architecture can change a lot of minds about a lot of different things. Those young minds who are listening. So this is what is going to happen. So as we go into the presentation, we'll see how a terrace can be very useful for us. So And as soon as we start thinking, in our lives, we've seen this particular cartoon, that bulb comes out on our head, it pops up, and that there we get an idea. Oh, that's the spark. Okay, I'm feeling like, okay, that's the idea. Okay, let me work on it, kind of. So the bulb only comes on only if we have an idea. Let me see, or let us see what are the ideas which we have for a terrace, which we can do today, right now. So these are like three terraces. So the gray part is the part of the ground. The yellow is the terrace of a square house. The second picture, the yellow is the terrace of a rectangular, and the last picture is the yellow is the terrace of a normal square house, a smaller house. Now see, the 100% of solar reflectance, and the heat is too much in these terraces, which is existing. So what can we do about it? Now this is what can we do about it today. It's feasible. So when we do this particular thing, the green is the gardening, and water, the blue is the water saving. So I'm telling, instead of saving water on tanks, those plastic tanks which are unhealthy and stuff like that, in older days, people stored water on big open tanks. It was not that bad. It was actually very organic. So I had this idea in my mind where I thought like, okay, 50% of my terrace, which is on top of my house, should get covered by 25% of gardening and 25% of water saving. So when we do this, what we do is we, cut down 40 to 50% of solar reflectance and heat, which is going up in the atmosphere. So when we do that, this is what is called resilience. So the terrace becomes resilient by itself by doing this. This is not a very new idea, or idea which is like innovative and things like that. This is an idea which our grandfathers, grandmothers, our ancestors, everybody started doing it. This is what they were doing. And nowadays we just stop with the flower pot. We just stop with the garden. We just stop with the park. And we really don't even think about what should we do for our own houses. So let's go more deeper. It's very interesting even more to get to know about this terrace. Now, everybody has friendships. I understand. All of us have friendships in our life. Now, this little friendship is there between the terrace and the rain. Imagine terraces have been here in our society for like, so many years, 50 years and 60 years, and even before that. Yes. So there's this long friendship, or this long batsman partnership like the rain and the terrace. So let's see. Now, if you can see in this chart, this chart shows, so this chart shows more of, rain, more of rain in the sense, this chart is like showing monsoon rains from 1901 to 2011. So even the 10 years after 2011, we couldn't take. So my question is, we've had a century of rain before us. Okay. From, the plague in 1919, we've had rains every year. I understand. But even today, we are complaining about there is no water in my society. There is no water in my neighborhood. There is no water table under my house. My well can't go so much deep. All these are very useful problems we have in our daily households. If you can ask your parents, they will tell you why is water so much, why is water not even clear? So one second, screen is showing up with some gray panels. Can you? Yeah, I can do that. One second. Sorry. Okay, I think now it should be clear. So yes, coming back to the question, all these centuries, the whole century, we had a lot of rain. Today, 2020, month of May, the end of month of May, if you go to somebody and ask them, do you have water in your house? They'll tell no. So my thought is that, we've gone wrong somewhere, or we've not looked at really things which we can save. So maybe if we could have put a good plan, or, devised a very innovative way for saving the rainwater or harvesting it, we could have, saved a little bit of rain, and, we could have recharged our water tables. Again, water tables are not very new to us. Water tables are again going back to the 6th and the 7th grade. We've been learning about it. My question is, why didn't we do anything about it? So this graph explains a big intensity of helplessness of humans, or, helplessness of man. Man knows only to grow. Man doesn't know to save, or man doesn't know to use things which we have. Now this is the idea which we came up. So me and Pranith, when we were sitting and discussing a lot about what to do with it and how to do with it, the same terraces I'm showing you again. If you can see the orange is the space for human interaction. All the oranges. The yellow is the left out terrace. So what we thought is, nobody asked this question. Who only told us that the terraces should be flat? Nobody told us the terraces need to be flat. There are no rules or there's regulations maybe, but the terrace really doesn't have that much of rules and regulations for anything to do on top of it. And also, why did we keep building terraces at flat terraces is my question. So if you look at this first picture, this square terrace can be changed into like this, a V shaped here, left down corner for runoff and collecting water for harvesting. This terrace rectangle, you can keep this flat space for user activity, and again you can lower this angle for runoff for harvesting water. So 60% of capacity. The last one is very interesting. Very small house, very small area for terrace, very small area for human interaction, but still we can have a choice with that. This particular pitched roof will be this orange area where where the rain falls and it gets collected, and this particular zone will be the area where space for human interaction, and then the rest can be runoff. So when this happens, a flat terrace takes a lot of time to collect rainwater, to percolate it, but a little bit of a slope or a little bit of a thing where on the roof can actually put a lot of water into one direction, so it gets collected very fast. So that is what I think maybe we were missing. So this is an outcome of the questions and brainstorming, which is another interesting factor. Left hand side is what we have in our daily houses. We have we catch the water, we send the ground to the water, we use the motor, we recycle it, we filter it, and then we distribute it with another motor to the different parts of the house, and then again the water becomes dirty. We take that water and again we put some energy and we distribute it or harvest it. So this is what we've been doing. A lot of energy has been taking for this process. If you look at the right side of the screen, a very simple and a very ancestral process, I would say, is feasible to work. So what we do is collecting the water on the terrace. And all of us know we have those parapet walls on our terrace, the wall which we lean to, or wall which we just sit down and things like that. So what we do is, the water can be put into these linear parapet walls. The parapet walls are of no use again. So the parapet walls can be built as tanks which can be put around the house, and then the water can be filtered and circulated, and then the water can be sent directly to the house or to the kitchen. So when you compare these two, there is 0% of energy which is being spent on this particular idea, which was ancestral. Innovations are spending too much of energy. So this is one outcome of what I found out to be when I was brainstorming with Pranith, and we came this can be an idea to be done. So this one is my one of the last very interesting factors. So if you can see the flow chart, every year we have monsoon months. When monsoon rains come, we feel so happy. Wow, the rain is coming, and it feels so pleasant and things like that. But every year monsoon rains are there for 100 hours. Okay, my question is, if we can capture those 100 hours of rain in that monsoon very effectively, if we can just capture that and store it in big tanks in our city or in our neighborhood, we can actually use that water for the next 3 months of summer. So this is a thing which we can actually do, but a lot of obstacles and hindrances don't let us do it in the society, or maybe we can start doing it, is my thought. So I wanted to put this thought inside your brain. So it will be really interesting if you can come with more ideas like this to tell people out and to create an awareness. I would say that will be particularly the intent of today's presentation. So yes, coming to the methods, this is the interesting part of the presentation. So Pranith, are you there?
Yeah. Is it okay now?
Good. I think, yeah, it's louder, Pranith. I think I can hear you now clearly.
Sure.
So yes, guys. So Pranith, architect Pranith will take us into the methods of how we can, change our terraces. So it will be very interesting. Just listen to it. Praneeth, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. So when we is it okay now? Yeah.
Yeah, it's clear. Yeah.
So the reason behind the methods, the major issues which we are facing now will be the global warming. So so you can ask me like, what is the correlation between global warming and the terrace uses? We have a huge impact on the terraces where you can how to combat if the terraces can able to fight against the environmental issues in terms of more greeneries, which we gonna place on top of the terraces. So how the global warming happens? The major reason would be the CO2, the carbon dioxide. How the carbon dioxide evolves in this era? It simply said the population growth. First thing will be the population growth. Second will be due to the population growth, people started encroaching the landforms where the land acquisition takes place. So if the land acquisition takes place, what happens? The people have to build their sheltering on the land. So what happens? Obviously, the greeneries and the vegetations on the ground will be get demolished. So what happens? The amount of oxygen for the human being is getting reduced because due to the rapid construction on the infrastructure we put in the technology, we reduce the oxygen level and we are raising the carbon dioxide, which is inversible acting gas. So this is one of the key reasons why the global warming happens. So another way, if you see in this picture, where the graph has a red line and the small spaces like rural, suburban residential, commercial, cities, urban residential, parks, suburban residential, again rural. So in this picture, what you can see is the graph which shows the temperature fall down in the rural areas where we have more vegetations. I simply say, where in the urban residential, we have urban construction, a shelter of the human beings, it's low amount of vegetations, whereas the transmittant, the radiation from the solar radiation take places over there and the vegetation getting lost out. So you can see the temperature a little bit higher in these places. Whereas you can see a commercial, city, urban, residential parks where you can see a cloud. This is called heat cloud. This heat cloud forms in a simple way, like a sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Okay. In this way, what happens is the sun hits the building in the commercial areas, cities, and suburban areas where we don't have any vegetations at all. So that means the solar radiation hits the concrete model. As you said earlier, that every object which we put in the sunlight, it gets absorbed as well as it gets reflected. The reflected heat as a emittance. That reflected heat as a emittance which has infrared rays. This infrared rays can't able to escape from the earth zone. Likewise, whatever we put in the sun, it absorbs and it reflects. Some of the energies which reflects over the planet and some of the energies will get retained and it gets trapped inside the earth module. So in this case, what happens is the heat cloud between commercial, city and sub-residential has more. So we can find this in our day-to-day life. For example, if we check in our Google weather, the temperature shows it's 30 degree. The same way it shows like you feel it as 45 degree or 30 degree, 35 degree. The rise in temperature up to like 5% to 5 degree to 7 degree, it depends upon this heat cloud. This heat cloud can reduce only by using the vegetations, as we know. So next slide, I can show up the next slide. Yeah, next slide. This I said already. If you see in this picture, we have photosynthesis, which we already known in our, like standard 5 or 6 or 7. What happens is vegetation, what we grow on top of the terrace will reflect the heat. Same as this vegetation can absorb the sunlight as a reflective and the absorbance. Same way, what we need to grow a plant. is simple as oxygen, not it's simple as CO2. So CO2 is nothing but where we have abundance in the atmosphere than oxygen. So if you're putting the vegetation on top of the terraces, what happens is it acts as a purifier, natural purifier that traps the carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide turn into a oxygen where the vegetation gives us. So this is how we need to, a simple way. Actually, it's a simple way, but we should think in a different perspective. How a vegetation can helpful in a terrace, and also in our living beings. So these vegetations can also put up create an ecological system. I mean the ecosystem, which is to be very needed for the human being for the microbiota. So in this right hand side, if you see, the temperature fall down on the rises. In the vegetation areas where the see the rural areas where you have low temperature, whereas in the urban areas you have a temperature rise. The same amount of temperature hits the ground, but it gets buried out because of the objects what we have in the surfaces. Whereas the temperature rises in the concrete model, the same way as the temperature fall down in the green spaces. This is how we have to combat the fight against the environmental issues. So next slide. So on talking on the vegetation on the terrace, this left hand side picture will help you to understand more even how we can fight against the environmental issues, that's the global warming. So what happens here is the picture on the left hand side, again in the left hand corner, it has a flat terrace where the sun, the solar radiation hits the ground, hits the surfaces, and small amount of, not a small amount, a huge amount of reflected radiation as well as the absorbance which goes into the building, which dramatically increases your building's cooling load as well as heating load. This also a big hindrance for the energy consumption what we are facing now. So obviously this will make you to a rise in electric bills, or the indoor air quality gets again have issues. So these kind of issues will arise if you don't have a green roof. So in the left hand side, again the right hand picture which shows the terrace which acts as a buffer zone with helpful of vegetation. This vegetation can be either be like one thing will be like you can use a normal flowering vegetation or kitchen crop what we use for the daily basis. With these we can you can reduce the heating amount which goes into the building, as well as it purifies the indoor air quality. Also it combats with the fight against the toxins which is already happens in the air. Same way it absorbs the carbon dioxide. It gives a lot of immense throwback for us if we follow. It's a simple way, as in the next slides you can able to view how it could be done like. So these are the simple examples, very very simple techniques that you can taken up in your daily life. Like on the right hand side you have a picture like this kind of vegetation can be also put on a roof which has no maintenance at all. Only thing is you have to water it daily. That is like how we bath. You can bath the plants also. That is very simple. So these are simple things which combat against the environmental issues and also reduce the temperature which prevails in the due to a lot more emittance. This also can be reduced like this. The next slide. So these are the simple props where you can able to grow your vegetations in terms of like house props. The picture in the right hand side where it shows like the people who don't have terraces, the people who might live in an apartment, they can also use this usable space into a garden space where you can put up your kitchen crops like herbs, shrubs, like something else which is useful for a daily cooking. On the left hand side picture which shows with the bottles, where you can grow a simple basil leaves, then coriander, simple things which can helpful for your daily life. That amount of amount will put down the consumption as well as. So obviously, I said this can helpful in your real life for your daily basis. So these are the simple hacks what we can do to do combat action against with the environment. So these are some of the roof terraces with some vegetations. Like the left hand side picture shows in the biome Bangalore. So Rupesh, is this okay?
Yeah.
Can you hear it now?
Yeah. Clear.
Yeah. So these are the pictures which shows a lot of greens on the rooftop which reflect the heat, and some of the heats will get above on the surface will used for the natural purification. So in the right hand side, the picture where you can see is with use of low cost materials like a daily base, a tub, a solid metal tub, or galvanized tub. Those things can also be incorporated in the making of usage. So these are the little hacks that we can follow it up in our daily life, Rupesh.
Yes, Praneeth. Actually, yes, we all of us need to learn that, because, like you told, we don't need to nobody wants us to grow big paddy fields or big plants.
We don't need to have.
Yeah. We can just like you told, coriander leaves can do the job for the terrace, your house, as well as your grocery list will become less, right?
Yeah. That the bill can put down.
Yeah. So see, this is one factor which most of the people don't understand. We always go to the grocery store for everything, for every detail also. They still don't know that the kitchen garden or that little flower pots which can be kept inside the kitchen can give you coriander leaves, and which you can use for your breakfast and bread, right?
Yeah.
So good, Praneeth. Thanks for that insight on that, and stay there, and we'll see the last part of the presentation. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, Praneeth. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So like architect Praneeth told, he had been practicing his little gardens which we had there in Ooty, and the only problem was sometimes these landslides come and things like that. Once we had this big garden which was like 8 feet, and the landslide just came and washed it through. So see that the experimentation takes a lot. If you can look at this picture shows a very good impact or representation, just photoshopped. Okay. The artist or the architect, he's put all the crops or the paddy fields, the fields which have cabbage, fields which have carrot and everything. He's put everything on top of the roof. So this is the vision I think we need to follow for our cities. I think for our cities which are like getting packed and are growing and growing and growing. So if we can take a step into this particular path, and we can try out during experimentation, maybe in 2025 or 2030 we can really make a difference. It's not an immediate process, I'm telling. It is also a very long process which we need to do. A lot of architects in India, a lot of architects in the southern, northern, and in the central Deccan, they are all practicing terrace farming. In fact, Bangalore is got most of the houses which are sustainably good, and also has more of terraces which are being used for farming. So this image is an inspirational image for me. So I just wanted to add it there. And let's now look at this future of houses. Let me take it very fast. So the way of thinking needs to change is what I'm telling. So be it architects, students, anybody or anywhere you are. So if you can see the image, this is how we are thinking now. We are thinking like in black and whites, in boxes, okay, in voids, in big spaces and things like that. There's no life at all in that. So what I'm telling is that maybe we should start thinking like the other side. So how we need to start thinking. This is what is an vision of an architect who actually bought this particular community activity there. So he's given his years. See, he's starting from 2015 and it goes until 2045. So that is what I'm telling. This is not an immediate process. So this is a process for the near future. So if you are going to join BR this year, if you want to see nice houses in 2025, maybe we should start now, is what I'm telling. So we cannot build the same type of houses like we do now. In the next 5 years, we need to evolve, because we've already hit the pandemic, which is getting even more worse. Now, these are very beautiful images of architects and their works, where they've displayed an eminent display of, it's not actually farming, but their houses are not giving too much of heat into the atmosphere. In fact, they are doing very good for the little insects, they are doing good for the birds, and they are doing good for all those little species which are around their ecosystem. So they are living with them, is what I'm telling. Nowadays, we don't see anybody. This was the question which I asked you in the previous, early part of the presentation, about the bees, about the butterflies, and about the birds. So maybe what if, our city, Coimbatore, or your city, wherever you are, changes into houses like this? It will be a very beautiful thing to do. Now, this is a house which is there in Vietnam. This house is totally sustainable by itself. They don't get groceries from outside. They don't use electricity, excuse me. They don't use, electricity, gas, or, taking inductions, or, borrowing electricity from the government. No, they don't do that. All they do is they have the fire, which they have here in this particular part of the house, and they grow all their needs. For example, let's take for us coriander, beetroot, carrots, and then we can put all our very liked vegetables, broccoli, everything on a terrace. So this will add up to, like, we can at least save 15 days of breakfast time, or 15 days of meal time in a month, if we can do this. So that is the achievement which they have achieved. Is very inspirational, and we need to think this way, and we need to not only think but work and do drawings, so it will be very lively as architects. Now, this is a very beautiful picture I wanted you to see. This is the garden roof parasol, the project from Harshavardhan Jain architect. So this is in India. So if you can see this image, the green terrace right in the middle is having so much of life, and it's having so much of warmth and moisture, and it's like every time you get up in the morning and you come to this terrace, you're going to feel good. You can do yoga, you can do a lot of things. The same things which we are going to do in a terrace now can be done on this terrace also, except the fact that this terrace also does good for you, your house, your environment, the microclimate out there, and those little squirrels, the birds, the insects, and those butterflies around you. If you look around this house, those are all the terraces which are being normal. Now, those are the types of terraces which we have on top of our houses. But this architect wanted to make a change, and he wanted to put it into the world so people get inspired about it. Now, this is also a very, it's a staggering picture. So if you see the bottom part of the picture, where we are heading to, so everything is black and white, monochromatic. There are dark winds, the air is not nice, the clouds are dark. It feels so not life at all. But what we need to make is something like which is there on the top. Can you see those little birds which are going around those green buildings? So that is what life we need to make for. Not only for us. See, as humans, we have been very selfish in building everything for us. Everything for us, everything for me. We have never thought, or nobody has even told us to think about what about the birds, what about the butterfly, what about the bees, what about the other insects and other things, or what about the earthworms? So we cover the road with tar, and then around our house we have a little bit of space where water can go down into the soil, but that also we'll cover with concrete. That's what we are doing. If you go to your house today outside and go see, it will be fully covered with concrete. So water won't go inside. So that is where we will lose a lot of water. See, these are small things which we need to understand as, environmentally friendly people who are living. So this is a good picture which I wanted to show you. Now, this is very drastic because sometimes, it's very scary, but they are inspiring also. We have a problem in these pictures as well as we have a solution. I'll tell you how. If you see on the left-hand side, it's 2003. The ground is like blank. It has good life, good water table, good moisture, good climate, good ecosystem. If you look at 2020, that's a big apartment complex which have come in. So this is what we've done to that particular land. But if you can see very closely in that apartment complex, there are a lot of terraces, those red terraces, which are not being used at all. Now that is where me and Praneeth are telling we need to make use of all those terraces. Imagine if this apartment complex can make green terraces everywhere on top of every terrace. That would be one of the most beautiful things which we can see from an angle on top, and it will make a very good impact for the society also. This is another image, another developer, 2003, 2020, 20 years of development. Another image, lot of terraces we build, but we don't do anything on top of the terrace. We just leave the tiles, we just leave the heat. That's it. The terrace is dead for enough. So those pictures actually explain us a lot. Now, this question you need to ask you as well as your colleagues, your friends, your parents, your architects, your everybody. You can ask, do you want to zoom in on the same terrace in your neighborhood in the year 2030? So if you go to Google Earth again, if you zoom in today, you will see thousands of terraces today. You can test it out. But what I need and what me and Praneeth are thinking we should give to the world is, in 2025 or in 2030, if you are going to zoom in on your neighborhood, we want those terraces to be lively. We want that terraces to be giving food for the humans as well as the birds and the insects. It's because that is how we lived previously. Now we've changed a lot. So all we are telling is that we need to go back a little bit and, come to the zone where we were actually living nicely rather than this lifestyle. So coming to that point, we need change. So the same picture which you saw previously in the thing can be shown here. So this, what was there previously, I showed you, this was there. What we did, we built our houses, we built everything beautiful, nice. Yes. This is the red line. We need to cross the red line today. Okay. In this particular lockdown, I need to tell you, we need to cross this red line today and we need to start growing again. Growing again, not us, but growing a lot of things on the terrace. You can see those birds who are there on top of the terrace, they automatically come there. So if you're a parent who is looking at this presentation, if you think your kid needs to see birds in the next 5 years, you need to grow. You need to grow something on the terrace. If not, nobody's going to see birds, butterflies, bees, everything is going to go off. So this is one factor we are running into, and we need to save our own environment. I think we need to do some justice. So 90% of produce and needs can be bought from a terrace itself. We don't need to go to the grocery. We don't need, if we can do this, the whole community or, the whole community of 10, 30 houses can become sustainable. Imagine if you are growing tomato on your rooftop, if your friend is growing, neighbor is growing potatoes, in the month, 15 days, you can exchange that. If somebody is growing different, vegetables, even flowers, we can actually exchange them and we can be, self-sustainable as a community. Hello?
Yeah. Continue.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. Actually, this 90% of the picture shows simple as that. Whatever square foot area we put in the ground, that yes, we can take up to the terrace. That is as simple as that.
Yes. Correct, Praneeth, because that's what I was about to tell, because we are not, nobody is telling us to do this.
Of course. Yeah, we have to save the future.
That's why we are running into a problem.
That's what I'm trying to say. We have to save it for the future.
Correct.
If somebody has to play with the nature, we need a nature in the upcoming years. So if we continue with the urbanization and other things, we would definitely lose the entire environment itself.
Correct.
That's what my point would be like.
Good. Yes, Praneeth, that really matters. So then we started, so me and Praneeth, we came to this zone and we were thinking, what can we do? So we got some prototypes. For anything, there need to be a climax, right? So we thought we should show something which can really matter. So what if we can change our housing like this? So prototypes in the sense, I'm going to show a few. So this is a normal house, which is there in our neighborhood. It's a very normal house with a normal terrace. But we can do this. So this prototype house with limited roof gardening. So you don't have to do full gardening there on the rooftop, but you can do a little bit of gardening, say cabbage or anything like that, spinach growth. Okay, the fastest grower, the crop. So if you put it there, these two images, if you see, a lot of, heat can be, like Praneeth explained it, architect Praneeth explained it in detail. A lot of heat can be not, we can't allow the heat inside a house. So automatically the temperature will be low. We don't use the AC, we don't use the fan, we don't pay too much of electricity bill. We don't need too much of electricity if we do this. So this is how it can help. Now, again, I'm telling you, we should start growing. Prototype 2. So this is prototype 2, house with gardening and solar panels. So this is one interesting fact, because if we can start growing with plants as well as solar panels installed in this particular design, what we are going to do is, even if there is no sunlight, or even if there is no a good amount of light for the plants, we can use the solar panels to bring in a little bit of artificial light from the sun. We can harness from the solar panel, and we can still grow the crops, is what I'm telling. Now, from our design, we named it as the living room. So nowadays we have living rooms in our house, right? Or the living room is where we sit and watch TV. Sometimes we eat food, guests sit down, and a lot of things like that. But actually, if you think, a living room should look like this. Now, this is what I am telling is a reality, or a close to reality of a living room. So what me and Praneeth thought is, we should change this idea of living room. We should make living rooms where real plants live, real butterflies come, real birds are there. Why can't we live with them is our question. So that is prototype 2. This is an interesting prototype, the last one which we ran into. So this is the community prototype. So houses with attached roof gardening. Now, if you see this image on the left hand side, you're seeing like 80% of roof which is covered by gardening. It can be any plant or any vegetable or any flower plant which you can do. It's a single floor house, okay? Rather than building a house which I showed in the previous slide, rather than building a house like this, which is very it's not even connected. The terrace is not connected to us. So we can build a house like this where the terrace is actually getting connected. If you can see, the heights are very low. It is easy for you to go to the terrace. Now you won't feel lazy if you want to go to the terrace and do the farming. Now what happens if we can build prototypes like this in the next 5 years? By 2025 or 2030, we will actually have a good economical rate for our neighborhood and for your household also, where your lifestyle will change. Your children will start learning about plants, and they will go into environmental science, and they'll understand the interesting part of it, rather than they going into electronics and getting into the digital age. Maybe we can save them. This can save them. So me and Praneeth had this thought where this particular idea of terrace gardening should be implemented in a lot of schools, government schools as well as in private schools, on their terraces. So every morning, as soon as the children go to the school, they need to go to the terrace and they need to water the plants. They need to take care of the plants or the flowers. They need to cut the buds off. So that will bring a little bit of patience. It will actually change the characteristic of the person itself. So that is how, that is the intensity and the impact of how this terrace or this particular farming can not only change us, but it can change the whole environment itself if we can do. So we start growing again. So last slide, this is what is the truth about a terrace. So your terrace can supply your food, okay? So when it supplies your food, you will automatically reduce heat. Heat won't come inside your household. When you get your food, when you reduce heat, you will get fresh air on top of the terrace. So you don't have to go to the terrace and think, oh, this air is stale, this air is not good, it's polluted. You will get fresh air when plants are there on top on the terrace. The last thing is, a good microclimate will be created for you, your children, your friends, everybody, where we can actually interact with nature, plants, birds, insects, butterflies, and bees. We need to see. This has all been seen 20 years back. So the end point where I'm telling is, as architects, we can change the environment. It's still not too late. If we can see these images from 2000 to 2020, if we are thinking about 2040, we can change now, is what I'm telling. And that is what even Praneeth likes to tell everybody, that both of us, we need to put this on, because this particular change of plan or change of housing or change of design itself can bring about a good community by itself. We don't have to have even jails, I would say, when compared. So coming to the end of the webinar, Praneeth, thank you.
Praneeth, thank you, Rupesh.
Yeah, so me and Praneeth thought putting these thoughts into your mind can change, not you, but a lot of people. So we need to understand one last thing. The terrace farming, the terrace gardening, and the stuff like that, we shouldn't even look them as a job to do. Our ancestors, they didn't look at terrace farming as a job. They looked at it like, taking bath every day, brushing your tooth. It's a habit. So I need to put this like, it's not an idea, but we need to put terrace farming into our lifestyle, like how we go to the gym, yoga, and stuff like that. We need to start farming so we can bring about a good community. And that is how a terrace can save us during a pandemic. So in the next 3 months, if we are going to hit a food shortage, in the next 3 months, if all the resources come down, which I'm guessing it might happen, where are we going to go for vegetables? All we need to do is just go to the terrace and start growing something right now, and today is what I wanted to tell everybody on this particular webinar. So that is the end of the webinar, guys. So thank you, Pranith, for joining.
Thank you so much.
I think I'll stop the share. So let's come to the question and answer session. If anybody is having questions, you can just put the question on the Q&A bar where me and Pranith will be able to answer. I hope the session was good. It inspired you, all of you, and maybe it changed a lot of people's thoughts. So everybody's looking out for change. So Pranith, we'll just wait for like a few minutes and we'll see if they are giving us some questions. If not, we can.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, fine.
Yeah. So participants, do you have any questions? You can just type it out in the question and answer tray. So we'll be able to answer you. So Pranith, we have this question. What is the material to be used in the terrace that is sustainable? It's a very terrace and sustainable and material, all three things are together. So for this, I think I would answer.
You can go for materials. For to grow the plants, you can go for wooden boxes. That's more sustainable, I would say. Rather going for steel or something else. No, wood is very available, very cheap also. So that can be a good idea too, because wood is capable of creating more ecosystem, natural material, rather than going for steel.
True.
So that can be done.
Now, correct. Thanks, Pranith. So Vijay Shanti, ma'am, my answer would be like, if daily we go to these fruit shops, right? It's so-called Palamudir Nilayam. So what happens there is that the fruits are being bought in those boxes, which are being thrown after. So those boxes are being dismantled and they throw it, and then it goes for recycling again. Those boxes look very, in hand, and it's capable of moving also. So if you can get 10 boxes and keep it on your terrace and fill them with soil and put some seeds, you can actually start growing. I think that should answer your question, ma'am. Pranith, next question. The modular tray system are better, or direct farming on slab is good? So he's asking, should we do trays on top of the terrace, or on the slab itself we'll do? Vivek Desai.
According to me, taking modular trays would be a better idea rather than going for the slab, because to consider on the slab, we should consider the the property of the slab. I mean the weightage, how much weightage, and we have to look into the structural system should be more incorporated to hold the density, the soil density. So that's the only reason what I would like to go like in a modular thing. Because first thing is we have to check the slabs, how the slabs would be like. If some demerits have in the slabs, it will have any issues.
Right. Correct. Good. Yeah. So modular tray system is actually, yes, what architect Pranith is telling is right, because we don't have to touch the slab, but a little bit above the slab is always safer. Thanks, Vivek, for that question. Somebody anonymous. So garden might have bugs and it will bring into the houses. What do you say about it? Okay, see, yeah, Pranit, you want to answer, please?
You say. Bugs is
no. My thing is about. Yeah, please.
Yeah, you can. Sure.
Okay. My answer is, we've been giving these ideas and we've been giving prototypes. The same question came to me and Praneeth 2 months back. Hey, what will happen if the bugs come inside? What will happen if the insects come? Can we do it? See, we are surrounded by an environment which has a lot of dangers. We have snakes, we have a lot of things, but still we are somehow keeping us safe. So it'll not even take a few days for us to, put nets over it or things like that. If we really want to grow the plants, we will definitely keep it safe. So it's like, switching on the mosquito coil every evening before you sleep. Something like that can be found out. But what is our aim today is that, you shouldn't care about what is going to happen later. All we need you to do today is that you go to the terrace, plan something out, at least grow one plant, which you can use it for your breakfast or your lunch. So that is what I wanted to put through. Yeah, Praneeth, you can answer.
Yeah, obviously, major motive is to have the ecosystem where that helps us in more. Yes. So that's what nothing can be, get easily.
Yes.
It's the same thing. What if farmer thinks in that way? We won't get food also, no?
Correct. Yeah, that's very good thought, Praneeth. Very good. Yeah, if the farmer thinks that if he's thinking about bugs and things like
bugs and things, no, we won't get any food.
We won't get rights. We won't get rice even. That's true. That's a good perspective to look at, Praneeth. It's nice. Thanks for the answer. Anonymous, thank you. What about the insect come inside the house? Yes, we've answered. Thank you, Rahul Anand. Direct farming is, can you please explain the layers? Vivek Desai, we would like to, it's a long process of explaining the layers on the terrace. It will take a little bit of time. Maybe you can get into contact with us after this session via mail. So we will explain you more in detail, Vivek Desai, because we're running out of time actually. It's been 1.5 hours also. So that's why. Is there any possibility of destroying or breaking the roof by the roots of terrace gardening? Yes, Nadeem Shah, we just answered that, because you need to take it a little bit on top of the roof. So the roots actually won't get into the slabs. It's not that scary. Nowadays, it's all sophisticated stuff. But, farming can be a little bit higher. In my pictures which you saw, the farming can be a little bit higher, or it will have that, like this layers, which the root will percolate and it will just go up to a limit. So it won't even go a little bit further. So I live in a, Praneeth, this question is there.
Yeah.
I live in a flat on ground floor where I own a small garden.
Okay.
And we have few plants in pots. Okay. Where else can I incorporate in that land in order to make impact on the environment? So he wants to do more.
Yeah, it will definitely create an impact, because rather than having a square foot of land for the vegetation, you can directly take up to the terrace. That can be done. Our motive is to grow the vegetation on top of the terrace in certain mediums.
Yes.
That's the only thing. You can do it, no issues.
Yeah, I think Anonymous, you can actually take it to the terrace. If you take it to the terrace, a lot of people will learn and they will become more aware of what you're doing.
Aware of it. That's what. You can take it to the terrace, no issues.
Yes. So another question, to grow a plant, type or sands are important. If the right sand is not found, growing of plant become difficult. Your suggestions, please. So he's asking about the soil for growing of the plants.
Soil in the sense, it's nothing but it depends upon the vegetation, what we grown up in the terrace. It depends upon the plant. If some plants would grow in a black soil, some would grow in the red soil. It depends upon the locality and the soil type.
Yeah, correct. It depends upon the locality. That's right. Because if I'm in Coimbatore, I have a type of soil. I can't bring like soil from northern regions and grow something here, the soil will actually get acidic and the environment will be not good.
Environmental is a big issue for the soil also, because same like you
Yes,
can't
so it's
able
better
to
we use
grow
the
a
soil
potato
which we
plant.
have near.
Yeah, that's what. You can't able to grow a potato in Chennai because the soil matters and the environmental matters a lot.
Yeah,
That's
there is
what.
too much of salinity on the air, so
Yeah,
it affects. So yes, environmental factors really come in front, Abdul. So you can do a little bit of research on that. It's there on the internet also, or you can check out your the TNAU, Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, things like that, and get some info from them. Soil erosion, we just answered, Subhavarshini. You can get more information from the people. We are looking at it from a architectural part of
the
the thing about how to change housing. Yeah. Will structure and weight of roof garden cause any problems in overall building? No, Sangeet, no, it won't. Sangeet has got this question. He's thinking whether it will be too much heavy on the roof.
No, it depends upon the certain plants have a certain root accusation. For example, to grow the coriander, the soil depth will be like 6 inches to 7 inches. That is more preferable to grow. It depends upon the plant what he is growing. Same way you can grow a huge tree on a terrace, but what happens? The root gets collapsed, entire structure will be gone.
Yes.
So it's better to go on a limited small sizes of plants.
Correct. Good. Thanks, Pranit. Sangeet, I think Pranit sir has answered your question. Or Pranit has answered. Houses having Mangalore tiles, how to do gardening? Like we told, you need to take boxes. You need to take, like we showed in the pictures, you need to take some sheets, tarpaulin sheets, and then make them into bags. Or you can just take flower pots and take it on top. If you have those old boxes inside the house, those trunk boxes, you can just open the trunk boxes in two, and then you can fill sand or soil. You can grow. That can be done. See, these are all things which can be done as DIY, do it yourself stuff. There is nothing very scientific to talk about.
Only thing is we need to have a container to hold the soil.
Yeah. So yes, damp proofing course should be there on top of every terrace. So as architects, yes, we know. Particularly me and Pranit, we are practicing there upon, sometimes these projects come in there in Ooty and these, leeward side of the mountain areas where 75% of the year is just moisture and rainfall. We really need to do damp proofing on the terrace for every terrace, even in Coimbatore, yes, Chennai, Bangalore, anywhere, damp proofing needs to be done, because that's one important component which we need to finish with, like applying varnish on wood. If not, what would happen, right? So that's the thing. Pranit, next question.
Yeah.
What would be an alternative for 100% soil for the plant growth in cantilever slab in order to reduce the load on the slab? Yes, this is a nice question. He's asking, without using soil, what can I do else? Yes, there is an answer, because in Coimbatore, in Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, they've identified a particular type of, we get tengai, right? So tenga nar, we get it, right? So they have used that, and they have come up with this particular, like a strainer kind of stuff, which you put into a jar, and then you put the seed. That seed will capture to that particular substance. So that can be used as an alternative for 100% soil. That is what most people are using
fibers,
in pole gardening. Yeah, fibers.
Coconut fibers. The fibers. That can also act as a soil.
Yeah, even that can act as a correct thing. So that can be used for the medium for growth. Vikram, thank you. Is it cost efficient than traditional roofs? Cost efficiency. See, like architect Pranit told, nothing comes without a cost. If you need a good environment, or if you need a good ecosystem, you will need to spend a little bit. For example, I would tell, if you guys go to the PWD department, or if you go to the agricultural website, these websites we don't actually go. That's why we ask a lot of questions like this. If you go to the agricultural website of Tamil Nadu, there is a subsidy which they give, and they give a kit, a terrace farming kit for 1,500 rupees. which I think most of them don't know, Pranit, because the awareness is not there. People have not told us. For me, this farmer told that, sir, they are giving loans in Indian bank for terrace farming. There are loans for terrace farming. See, nowadays we are getting too much of wrong information than the right information. So yes, Sangeet, you can go search on the internet. You will get into the right spot and you will get answers. Okay. So great. If modular trays are better than traditional, waterproofing is enough. And tile slab. Yes, I think we've answered this question again, Vivek Desai. Modular trays. Jnana Vishwa is asking a question. What about water seepage in the terrace gardening? Yes, we just answered that, Jnana Vishwa. You need to take the plants a little bit on top, and you need to put that water damp proofing on the terrace, which will be safe on top of your terrace. Water won't seep in. Vivek, Vivek, thank you. You'll get in touch for sure. Thank you so much. What type of system useful for sloping roof? How to retain water in vegetation? Yes, Arvind, good question. In sloping roof, you can't retain water. It will be very heavy. All you need to do is direct the water to the plants. So by using pipes, and hydroponics, which is normally taught in school also. So you can use that, and you can just put the water to the plants. So you don't have to store water on a sloping roof, is what I'm telling. Anonymous, this question we need to understand a little bit. As we are sweeping our house to get floor cleaned, is the process of cleaning the terrace gardens too? Keeping the terrace gardens clean is, see, it takes a process morning and evening. So if we want to keep ourselves clean, we take bath, right? So terrace gardens just can't become cleaner. We need to really take care of them, and we need to clean them every day. We need to take care of the plants. That's the only way which we can do. There are no robots which can come and do that stuff for us. Pranit, next question is there. I think it's from Rupa.
Yeah.
If you are to grow plants on the terrace, we should simultaneously protect them such the fruits and vegetables are not being eaten by birds and insects. So when we are to protect, we need to put a cover over the shelter and grown area. Again, a surface is created which will again contribute to reflectance. So how do we protect it? Okay. Rupa?
Yeah, in market, we are getting surfaces, a green, to cover up the things, we get a green fabric that can allow sunlight, as well as it protects the other, accusations. I mean, interventions of birds. That cover can be, very useful. It's eco-friendly fabric also.
That's true. It's cheap. Yeah, correct. So these, see, what you can do is, if you're growing plants on the terrace, you can just, with wood, you can make a little bit of a roof. Okay, wood is not going to reflect too much of heat. Wood actually absorbs a lot of heat. When you put climbers or plants on top of that wood, you are not allowing too much of light, and you're not putting too much of heat also. So other conventional materials, throw them. They're not good for it. Only wood, I think, is one part where we can actually recycle the wood, and the wood will actually stay intact also for say 6 months or something, where again we need to take care of the terrace farming. It's not like we can put something on the terrace and we can leave it for like 20 years. We can't do that. So like Architect Pranit told, there are these filters or these cloths which we can use it for covering the plants on top, which won't reflect. I think that should answer the question, Rupa. Can you elaborate more on collecting and storing water using a parapet wall? This is a research which I've done, Divya Chaudhary. The research of building water tanks instead of parapet, which I'm just walking into. So this research is still on the experimentation stage. It's still not, on that process of coming out to be a working model. So I would really like to discuss with you. You can contact me on the mail ID. Divya, thank you. While having big gardens on the terrace, it may affect roofs. What will be the advisable roof material for humidity? It's not going to affect the roofs, the terrace gardening. Again, when you're having plants, there is going to be a lot of humidity. So having a terrace gardening is not going to affect your roof in any way. Same questions again. Soil stores water. Doesn't it affect the strength of the concrete? No, the soil and the concrete never really come. I think anonymous attendee, I would really like you to go to the agricultural university's website from your state or from your district and get a lot of details, which is very explainable in pictures itself. Thank you. Shivakumar, how Middle East areas, Dubai, Kuwait, solving this issue? We don't see soil over their roads, walking paths, etc. Yeah, very good question. For example, Shivakumar, I would tell you, if you can take Israel, the country which was running into a lot of drought before 2005, but from 2005 to 2000, like today, Israel is not having water crisis at all. What they did is, for their climate, they can't grow plants, or they've covered it everything, they've covered the roads and everything. But under their soil, under the heated soil, they really have this crust where it is moist. So what happens, the moisture will seep in, and there's a good water table which can be created. So what Israel did is, they bought the water from the biggest lakes and the biggest gulfs. They channeled the water inside Israel. Okay, so it was actually, the water was actually running into the country itself. You can see that a lot of papers and a lot of journals are there about Israel, and even a lot of YouTube videos and National Geographic documentaries are there about Israel and their water thing. So I think that is how they did it in the Middle East. So Vikram, what would be the alternative 100% soil? We just answered that, Vikram. As plants and water survive, we need damp proofing. We need damp proofing, Sangeet. Thank you. What can be more done for green building? As what we can do? What can we do more for green buildings as architects? See, as architects, we are running into a lot of things like, we are trying to build houses on Mars. We are doing high skyscrapers and things like that. We still don't have an answer for getting our grocery from the next street during this lockdown. So what we need to concentrate is just grow our food and eat our food. I think that will actually make a good impact, anonymous attendee. Thank you. What about the maintenance of plants? Should it be user-friendly? Slope roofs. Maintenance of plants and slope roofs can be only maintained by you, the dwelling or the person inside the house. It cannot be maintained by anybody else. You can't keep servants for that. They would spoil it. We tell, like how you do gardening on the ground floor, you just need to do the same thing on the terrace. It's as simple as the idea. Thank you. Arvind, sloping roof is not favorable to retain vegetation system. Please explain how to retain it on. Sloping roof, nowadays innovation has come for sloping roof. Like me and Pranith, we come from the hills, so we have only pitched roof. Pitched roofs can be built in such a way where they can have pockets of gardening. No, Pranith? They can just design the roof itself, the pitched roof for gardening.
Yeah, in terms of casting the slab, we make channels. We make channels in the roof itself, like in a brickwork. So where you can able to put up the soil and you can start cultivating it. It's simple as that. It depends upon the structural system as well as typology of constructing a slab itself, roof slab itself. No other option.
Right. The design, yeah, the slab itself needs to be designed. That is what is our aim for our presentation. Yes, I think so. Pranith, the questions are over. Gayatri ma'am, the questions are over. I think we can come to the end of the session. So participants, all the attendees who are there, thank you so much for attending this session. Hope everybody got some use out of this presentation and got inspired. We all need to do this to make a better tomorrow. Pranith Kumar, can you just switch on your video if you can?
I have a network issue, Rupesh, a little bit.
Okay, no problem.
I switched off the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no issues.
That's fine.
So,
Architect Pranith, hi. This is Architect
Hello,
Gayatri from Sasi College. How are you?
Yeah, ma'am. I'm good, ma'am. How is your quarantine?
Thank you very much. You and Rupesh did a good job. And
Yeah,
actually, I have been messaging Rupesh that we are running out of time, but he's been answering the questions and answering the questions.
Okay.
But anyways, teamwork has worked out very well.
I can see.
And it's nice to know that you've been working on such projects also.
Yeah,
So
ma'am.
because
Thank
of
you.
this, we got to know a person like you. So I hope
Okay.
we will be in touch in future also.
Yeah,
Thank you
sure,
very
ma'am. My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Chalo, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay,
Pranit.
Rupesh, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you, Rupesh.
Good one.
Thank you, ma'am.
Arun IT, thank you.
Thank you, Arun.
Thank you, Arun College.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pranit.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you. Thank you so much.